Hi everyone, I'm Siti Israyani and 4 hours more you're watching MBC News now. Here's what's happening. The majority of American public students are now well into a virtual school year, and data from around the country is starting to show that middle and high school students are falling behind. This week, Fairfax County Public School in Virginia, one of the biggest districts in the country, reported an 83% jump in middle and high schoolers earning apps this year compared to the last year. In the independent school district in Houston, more than 40% of middle and high school students are failing at least 2 of their classes. And in St. Paul, Minnesota, the superintendent reports nearly 40% of public high school students have failing marks, double the normal number. Joining us now to discuss that, the superintendent of St. Paul Public School, Joe Goddard, and Dr. Hannah Schechter, psychology professor at Wayne State University and an expert on adolescence development. Thank you both for being here. This is such an important topic for so many. Joe, start us off if you can. What's been the biggest surprise for you when it comes to the challenges of virtual learning?
So the challenges have been, we are a district of 36,000 students. All of them have an iPad at home. They're able to connect, and we have great support in technology for those who struggle to or who can't quite get onto the internet. But I think our greatest challenge is just students accessing learning. And, we can do everything digitally as possible in making sure that assignments are uploaded into our learning management system. But we have many school-dependent learners, and that means that students who need a little bit extra support, students who need to raise a hand and have someone there to attend to them, and students who are losing motivation on having that structure and that system to support their learning.
And Joe, how do you do that? Because in a normal school year, students will inevitably differ in the level of support they get from their parents and other resources. But at least while they're in school building, they're presumably getting the same education. So what do you do now that they're home the whole time?
From spring now, we've been on distance learning for quite some time. So I think our teachers, our staff have become far more adept at developing rooms and support centers that students can come to in a virtual setting to get some of their support. Far better at using the technology to have breakout groups or small group learning. And I think those are some of the advancements, but there's still nothing that can take place for that physical in-person interaction that our students are really yearning for right now.
And Hannah, let's talk about the academic disengagement. And given the stress that kids are under right now, even the CDC reporting the rise in suicidal thoughts since the pandemic hit. What can we do about this right now? And how can we try and get ahead of it before it gets even worse?
I think we have to remember that students' mental health and their academic outcomes and their academic engagement are so intricately intertwined. So when students are feeling emotionally distressed, when they're feeling disconnected from their peers, from their teachers, that can take a toll on their ability to stay engaged and feel motivated to learn. So I think one thing we can really be thinking about is how do we prioritize students' emotional needs and finding ways such as breakout rooms and creating peer-to-peer interactions in this virtual environment that can really emphasize opportunities not only to learn together, but also to fulfill those needs for emotional and social connection.
And Joe, given everything you've learned to this point and will continue to learn as we go here, what's your message to struggling students and their parents?
Any of our students, we just can't do that. And our staff and our schools and our community need our support. So my direction back to our schools was to identify our students who are struggling based on those marks that we received. And let's really think creatively right now on ways that we can differ in the way that we're providing support. And sadly, we have to be in a virtual setting right now, but that isn't going to stop our efforts. And we are going to continue to hope that we can transition into a hybrid or blended learning throughout the school year. But we are not going to give up on our students. We believe in them, and we need to help them believe in themselves and get through this school year, this really difficult time in fighting this pandemic.
And Hannah, we've been talking about this afternoon that, students don't just learn the academics at school. This is also the place where they grow socially and emotionally. So how can school, parents, us, help support kids and teens on the front right now?
Thing is even just validating the stress and the concerns that students are having, making them know that it's okay if they're feeling overwhelmed and if this is feeling stressful, and that we're all in the same boat. I think also providing these opportunities for sort of informal social support, checking in, both teachers and parents, giving students, adolescents and children alike the opportunity to voice what are they struggling with right now? What can adults do that might make them feel better? And creating those environments, even in the online learning communities, that it's not just about getting through your bio topics or your history lesson, but it's also about having that time to talk with one another, peer-to-peer, teacher to student, and share strategies for coping during these stressful circumstances.
All right, Superintendent Joe Gader and Dr. Hannah Schechter, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Diane.
And viewers, that was MBC News today. Thank you for being with us. I'm Siti Israyani. See you.